Here we go. Let's see if it's working. Yeah. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm John Miglash for the WDMA. We're going to be talking about Eastbay today. But first, we're going to go over to Woodbridge and see what they've got to say. And here we go. Rule. There is one right way to describe wine. Woodbridge, which I believe is a brand of Mondavi vineyards. So here we go.
How's the red blend treating you?
Oh, it's very nice.
Swish it around. What are you tasting?
It's like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, minus the peanut butter.
Correct.
Yeah,
what
correct.
you taste is what you taste.
I like this one. World's Best Grandpa is her wine glass. That's why I originally spotted this ad. I just wanted you to know that. She's drinking out of a World's Best Grandpa mug, for those of you.
No wrong answers here.
No
I'm
wrong
getting
answers.
my mother's blackberry bundt cake that she passed off as her own, but we all know it was store-bought.
Strangely specific and still correct.
Still correct.
Thank you.
Enjoy. I love that one. That one's a humdinger. That one is definitely a keeper. So if we go over to the, we have to go over, let's bonk this over here. So Woodbridge is trying to expand wine drinking, which is probably a mistake in general because, in Scientific Advertising by Claude Hopkins, he says, don't advertise your category. And the example he gives is for brushing your teeth and how important it is to brush your teeth. He said, because even if somebody agrees with you and decides to start brushing their teeth, this was written back in the 20s, in the 1920s, so 100 years ago, when I think only 30% or something were brushing their teeth. But he said, even if someone embraces the concept, there's 30 other competitors whose product they might buy. So don't talk about the general industry, which is a kind of what Woodbridge does. They certainly don't, those descriptions don't really speak to the quality of the Mondavi vineyards. But anyway, the idea is enjoy your wine whenever and wherever you want. Okay, and so they've got a whole collection of those. The whimsical approach underscores Mondavi's larger mission, which is making wine drinking accessible and enjoyable for all without conforming to rigid expectations. And I suppose that may be true. Okay, but anyway, I just got a kick out of it. Next. This is serious. Yesterday we were talking about how California's new advertising laws against misleading claims can be interpreted in really kind of odd ways. This one, also by Fern Siegel. Some people, two different people, saw the trailer for Yesterday, which is a really interesting movie about a guy who wakes up one day and is playing a Beatles cover like the song Yesterday, and just in a club or something, and everybody's like, whoa, we've never heard that before, what a great song. And he starts playing all these Beatles songs that no one's ever heard before. He's in like an alternative universe. Anyway, so this Ana de Armas was featured in the trailer but isn't in the movie, probably because they did the trailer long before they had cemented all the deals. And so the Universal Studios argued that a trailer is an artistic expression of work that stands on its own. The judge, however, I think rightly, argued or decided that a trailer is an advertisement designed to sell a movie by providing consumers with a preview of the movie. That's the only real purpose of the trailer. The trailer does not stand on its own, right? It may be creative, but a lot of commercials are creative. That's not the question. Okay, and so Connor Wolf of Maryland and Peter Mitchell Rosa of San Diego County, California, each paid $4 to rent yesterday on Prime Video, and they are asking for at least $5 million. But the case can now proceed to discovery. All the judge really ruled was that it was subject to California's false advertising law, and I think you got that right. This seems a little disproportionate. That's the question. The next question is are there really damages if you watch a movie based on the trailer and it isn't as good as the trailer makes it look? Almost any movie. You watch a trailer and all the good jokes are in the trailer, and then you watch the movie and it's like, well, I was kind of hoping there'd be more like that in the real. No, not likely. Okay, here's a sad story for today. Retailer Eastbay, and I'm a little surprised they don't say cataloger Eastbay, but this is Yahoo, which I'm impressed that they even covered the story. Anyway, Eastbay is closing its doors in Wausau, Wisconsin, and they were founded, it goes on here to say, Eastbay was founded in 1980 by Art Judes and Rick Gehring. And I got to work with Rick and Art back in the 90s, okay? And they were going great guns with their catalog. And we were going to do, and they did send me a pair of, Bite golf shoes because I spent a lot of time working with them. And finally, we got a contract going. And they were high school coaches who started traveling around Wisconsin selling shoes out of the back of their trunk to track athletes, really. They were track coaches. And the company eventually expanded into athletic footwear, and its mail order catalog, direct mail catalog, became a must-have for sneakerheads. And what was really nice about not just this article, but there were several articles. I'm going to try and grab a few of them. Let me see if I can get over here and get one of these. This one I thought was especially nice. Okay. This is Drew, and Drew writes a sneaker Instagram called Nike Stories, and he says that he says he wasn't smart enough. He was smart enough to save all his Eastbay catalogs from the 90s and loves sharing them with the sneaker community. And so he does posts and he shows old Eastbay sneakers. And there's just a lot of posts on Twitter, which is hard for me to show, but it's just post after post. And people talk about how they read their breakfast. They let's see if I can get those back here again. Let's go back here to this one. How they, PJ Tucker, an NBA star, said Eastbay was my Bible as a kid. And a tweet from the Sneaker Game host, Nick DePaula, said, I grew up reading Eastbay with my cereal every morning. And the Eastbay blog says that they suggested to kids bring an Eastbay magazine to class, and everyone began hoping and wishing which shoe they could claim as their own. Okay, they became such a hit that Foot Locker bought them in 1997. So right around exactly that time, 97, 96, right before that, Rick and Art got in touch with me and asked me if I could segment their customers and improve their results. And I said, yeah, I think I can. And I was so confident that I said, we'll need a new server because you've got some data. So how about you put a deposit on the server of 10 grand and we'll do a test. And if we don't win the test, I'm so confident, then we will refund your $10,000 and we'll tear up I don't know if I said this or not, but I said, but basically you don't have to do the $1 million contract that we have at the moment, or that we have drawn up. And this was before I got really, really involved. Yeah, it must have been a couple of years before before that, because we really started modeling in 1995 with Cabela's. We did some modeling for Hudson Bay Company, but we really got going with Cabela's. And Eastbay was after that. So it was about 95, probably 95, 96. And, I was not aware of corporate politics. That's not my thing very much. And it turned out that one of the two of them, Rick and Art, one of them was in charge of the finance and IT, and he didn't want, whichever one it was, he didn't want us to succeed. He didn't want to do the segmentation, didn't think it would be worth doing. But I was gonna, we were gonna do whole tests, we were gonna do split tests, and we were gonna be very careful on whether we won or lost. And so, unknown to me, we requested 5 years of data. They sent 2, which is not really enough to do segmentation, because the 1 and 2 year old buyers that bought a year or 2 ago are pretty much worth mailing. And the ones that aren't worth mailing are the ones that are 3, 4, 5 years old. If you can figure out how to mail those profitably, then you're doing a great job. And if they're older than 5 years, there's not very many. Sometimes you can find some gold in there, but mostly you don't mail them at all. Okay, and that's just the way things work. And so my modeler, the guy who was running the modeling, was actually a NASA scientist. He'd been working for NASA for a number of years, and he told us it was all easy, and we were doing the same stuff NASA had been doing, but we did it in minutes rather than in weeks. And so anyway, when we found out, we were kind of in the middle of the project, and I said, do you think it made a difference, to only have 2 years? And he said, well, not really. I think it worked out really well. Well, anyway, according to their results, which we didn't push them on it, we didn't win. It's one of the very few times we didn't win. And so not only did I refund the $10,000, but I tore up the contract. I had an attorney tell me that we probably still had a case because they had manipulated the test. But it illustrates that not everybody wants you to win. Not everybody wants your company to grow. I remember talking to Bell South, a database guy at Bell South, and I told him we had spoken together at the New Orleans DMA, the two of us on a panel. I told him I think we could do something with your data. And he said, and this was before we were really serious into modeling, but we were just able to do queries and run a lot of I don't know what you'd call them. It was with PowerPlay. We were one of the first to really use PowerPlay in marketing, and a lot of reporting and stuff, and looking at segments. And I said, I think we could do really well. I think we could up your results 20% or something. That seems to be what we were seeing. And he said, well, I don't really want to do that. He said, if I increase the results 20%, the next year they'd want 20% again, and I'd have used up all my names. I might mail 20% of my names to test your idea, which would net out a 5% increase. And then I could do it again. I could roll it out, and I could roll it out, and I could roll it out. I could get 5 years out of this thing with 5% improvement every year, and that would be just, they would be astounded by that. Whereas if I do 20% in 1 year with you, I'll get fired in the 3rd year because I won't be able to keep repeating it because our results would be so great. That'd be super profitable. We'll be making lots of money, but they want to keep continuous improvement, which really shocked me. But that's, there's a different way of thinking as you get bigger. And right at that time that somebody sabotaged the test, Foot Locker bought them out, and Rick and Art became multimillionaires, I would guess. And Eastbay, so I've been reaching out to Eastbay, trying to see if they want to participate in. We have a catalog mailers roundtable, and I wondered why they hadn't, and now it seems pretty clear why. So sad to see it go. Wisconsin found it again. Wisconsin's one of the greatest places on earth for catalogs. But if you're interested in cataloging, then you might want to look into it further. I meant to mention Gunderson yesterday. I mentioned Polly Wong, or maybe it was 2 days ago. But Mike Gunderson is also very helpful, and we can also steer you to some other options if you are interested. Give me a call. Or reach out to me, John at WDMA.org. So tomorrow is going to be predictions for 2023, and you won't want to miss that. Have a great day. Like and share. Your friends will know you're smart.